on in 1 second. Hey, Christine. You guys comment. I can't necessarily see who's here. So just comment. Tell me you're here. I can see your comments. Yeah, Megan. What? What are we in? America? Hi, Talia. I can see you now. Yo, if you're joining me, just comment so I know you're here. I can't see you because it's on StreamYard, not just live. This is also going on YouTube Live. Tell your friends. We're going to talk about racism. How brave is that? Oh, yeah. Dance with me. Hey, Megan. Oh, what America are we fucking in? You better be dancing with me. Ahmaud, this is my dance party for you. You guys, the only way I know out of this is through. So I got to dance and meditate it out. So that's what I'm doing with you. I'll talk in a minute. Trying to get the anger out first. I'll still be angry. Don't you worry. All right. How's everybody doing this morning? Hi, Rachel. So yeah, welcome to Fearless Fucking Fridays. And if you didn't know, this is what my shirt says. That's why that is up there. What? Yeah. There we go. So I've been wearing this shirt since I started Fearless Fridays 3 weeks ago, maybe. Timely, right? 1955. I was wearing this shirt because when I think about what it means to be fearless, that's who I think of. And so, isn't that shirt cool? Hi, Jasmine. Yeah. I saw the shirt. I was like, I want like 10,000. So when we talk about fearless, we're talking about like, like when we think of, sorry, I have allergies. I'm not crying. Although I was crying earlier, but we'll get into all that. Yeah. So Rosa Parks was like, nah, I ain't getting off no fucking bus. What? Right. Because I deserve to be here. So does Ahmaud, by the way. God damn it. Hi. I know. Hi. I'm just so excited you're here. So what's funny is I had this whole plan about last week we talked about emotions. And then somebody brought up some stuff about money and financial stuff, and I know that's really hard right now. So I was like, yes, I'm going to face my own fear around it, write a blog, and talk about it today. I wrote the blog. You have the information. It's about money mindset and 3 ways of being. Go on my blog. It's right attached to my website. And, you can read about that. It didn't make sense to talk about that today because today is Ahmaud Arbery's birthday. I'm sure you all know what happened. It's hard for me to repeat, but basically he was killed, and today's his birthday, his 26th birthday. Black man killed because he was running. That's what we call, how did you die? Yeah, I was running while black. That's what happened, and here we are. So yeah, that shit's fucked up, right? So there's so many emotions around that. And I don't even know how to talk about it. I just know that I wanted to honor his day, his birthday, and say happy birthday to him. And to open up a discussion and a conversation about what we can do to heal. Because I mean, what's so funny about this is like we're all in COVID-19 right now. So, there's another part of trauma that's happening to the world. And there's a lot of fear, right? The crazy part about it is everyone was home to see the video, that video of him getting shot while black and running. So I don't know that we would have been paying as much attention to it if it wasn't really just in our face, because that's what's in our faces right now is our computers and our phones, because we're not out as much. So, it's there, it's out there. And some of you saw the post this morning. I'll just repeat it for you because I think it's a really good conversation to have. I think that there's ways we can look at this. I will say some really blunt things today that may make some people uncomfortable. I don't really, let me not say that. I do care about your feelings. You guys know I care about your feelings. What I need people to understand is that some of this stuff is hard, and some of this stuff is hard for white people. And I think that's the caveat that I'll say here. And that, I've said it for a while, and this is not new information. But please comment if you have questions or things that you want me to talk about or things that you're thinking about. I will try to get to them for sure. But this morning, I've talked to Blessing, as you guys know, my daughter. We adopted her when she was 3. Well, she came to us when she was 3. And she's pretty dark in terms of skin color. And for those of you curious, you might be like, are you black? People wonder that all the time because I look like a multifaceted of different things. So I am. So my mom passed away a long time ago. She's black, was black. Yeah. And my dad is white. So there's a lot of mix there. But he's like Portuguese and French. So, there is a whole mix. But most of us are mixed in some kind of everything. So yeah, but I say that because my experience was and will always be different than hers, right? So even though I am a person of color, like my skin is lighter, right? So there's privilege that comes with that. So don't for 1 second think that I don't understand that dynamic, even though I'm a person of color and I consider myself black. Okay. So there's that. What I also understand is my daughter is dark skinned. I mean, she's fucking beautiful, which is just a whole nother issue. She's also fearless, which I love, but it's a little scary because she's not afraid of anything. In some ways, that's so good. In some ways, as a mom, that scares the crap out of me. But I know ultimately it's very good. So we were talking this morning about, what we're going to do with our day. And I said, we got to run, we got to run for Ahmaud. And 2.23 miles. That's as far as he was from his home when he got killed. And so I had to explain, who he was and why we were running and all this. And she's all in, she's like, yeah, I'm doing it. Let's do it. And then she says, wait, I better wear white. And for first second, I was like, wow, I didn't understand. And she was holding up her hands like this. And I was like, I just don't get it. Right? Why wouldn't I get it? She's holding up her hands to show me that her hands are black and her hands are dark. And if she wears white, maybe she won't get as hurt, right? Whoa, that shit blew my mind. I mean, it's there, right? My brain didn't just go to it right away. Wow, that was it's like one of those things where your kids tell you like they're afraid, and in that moment there's nothing you can do to take that away, right? It was like a gut punch. It was like somebody punched me in the stomach, and I still feel a little nauseous. That's a hard, like, wow, she wants to help. Not when she was like, I'm not running. She was like, I better alert people and protect myself so that I don't get shot like Ahmaud. I mean, you guys, how fucking scary is that? That's like, I know being a parent is hard in general. I mean, I'm the first to say that it is hard. I mean, it's no joke. Okay. But that is on a different level. So I know I posted that this morning. Lots of people were saying sorry, and I can't believe you could deal with that, and no. There's no like sorry, and there's no you have to deal with that. This is a collective we. Okay, this is a we, right? Blessing's my child because I adopted her. She's a part of the world. She's a part of all of you, right? So if you're white, you don't need to tell me you're sorry. That's part of this collective systematic racism that is part of the world that she is a part of. It's going to be there for her generation, my generation. We're not fixing that right now. But I do think as white people, we have to take a responsibility, just like I did. It's the same thing, that you got to recognize your privilege and act upon that, right? So it's okay. Like, I know that people are saying sorry, and there's, that's good. I love it because you love me. And I know that's where it's coming from. I totally know that, you guys. I love you too. It's not that. It's that we got to take some action, right? And we got to think about this as we, not just as you as a Black mom have to deal with that with your Black child. No, it's we. Like, that hurts me as much as it hurt you as a mom, which is why I posted it, because I know people can resonate with that. And then we can start to have the conversation. It's a hard conversation. This is not easy. And it's not easy raising Black children, never mind Black boys. That's a whole nother issue, right? Jesus Christ, can you imagine if it was a Black man that killed a white guy, like jogging? And we waited, 3 months to arrest him? But that would never happen. That would never fucking happen. I'm pretty sure that Black man would be dead. I mean, come on. I know I'm getting on my soapbox, but I have to, because I love all of you. And this is how we change things, right? Here's another thing that might be hard to hear. It's not people's of color responsibility to do any of this. It is white people's. I know this is hard to hear. So when people get defensive and I'm not racist and I'm not this and I'm not that, you can get your just remove the white guilt. Remember last week when we talked about emotions and separating them? This is a perfect example of how to do that, right? You feel it in your body, you feel it in your gut, and all of a sudden you're like, they're blaming me, right? And then you get this surge of defensiveness. That's not me. That's not me. I don't want that a part of my life. I treat my kids well. I think that all people of color are beautiful, like the rainbow, and we are all the same. You guys know that's not true. We're evolved enough as a society to know at this point that's not true, okay? Get a hold of the feeling. Know that it is just your own guilt about things that you can't control on the outside. Recognize that, work with it yourself, heal yourself, and then go take action. People make mistakes all the time, right? You're not going to do anything wrong by taking action. By not taking action and not recognizing your own white privilege and where you are in the spectrum of your own internal racism and not acting on it is where, I don't want to say mistakes are made, but where people get hurt and die, right? White people not acting on this means more people die. That is the bottom line. There's no like in between. There's no like maybe. That's it. So that's the hard truth I'm going to say. Right? And as a mom, what was super hard about that was like the gut part was like, I want to save you. I want to rescue you. I want to tell you that all people are beautiful and that they don't hurt other people. I want to tell you that I'm going to be there every second you're in school and some person makes a racist comment to you about your face, your skin, your hair, all of it. But I'm not going to be, right? The only thing I can do is just instill in her internal self that she is goddamn beautiful and that everything about her is just as important as everything else in this world. Lucky thing is she already knows that, right? She's the most resilient kid I've ever met. But as a mom, that's scary because you can't be there, right? I will say too, she also said, well, are they related to Trump? It was all pretty hilarious. The two guys, the guys that killed him. That's a longer political conversation. I'm not into politics really. So I'm not going to get my soapbox about that. I will always on racism. I will always on healing. I will always, around those issues and diversity. So I want you guys to hit me up with some questions, some thoughts, some comments about this. If you have questions, that you're afraid to ask other people, go ahead, ask. This happens to me all the time. Like when I do talks around recovery and stuff like that, I always tell people, ask the hard questions you're afraid to ask. It's okay. Yeah, totally. Aaron, yeah, kids don't miss a beat. Yeah. She knows a lot. Yeah. And sometimes she knows more than I wish she knew, Her little life before she came to us was hard. I mean, she lived in, shelters. She was in foster care. She was, certainly, beaten, and all kinds of scary shit happened to her before she came to us. So all the more reason that, I want to protect her. But she is fierce. Oh, cool question. Why do you say you identify as Black and not white if you're both? Cool question. Here's why. And my mom and dad had this argument for a really long time. So I am both. I actually identify as biracial. It's like the technical term, I guess, like if I were to write it on a piece of paper. The reason I say I am Black now is because, or just in general, is so if you're a person of color, you're a person of color. And because there's so much racism in the world, like I'm never going to be seen as white. So like that part of me is like, it's there, it's part of my culture, but it's not, I'm seen to the world as a person of color. I'm not seen as white. I can pass certainly for something else. I'm not seen as a dark-skinned person. But I most certainly am a person of color in the world and experience all the things that people of color do experience. So that's the answer to your question. Thank you for asking that. It's a great one. Other questions, you guys hit me up. Thanks, Kathy. That was good. I'm gonna have some coffee, so give me a break. Now I'm just gonna breathe a minute. We are gonna meditate before this is over, so. Oh, Jane, so yeah, I'll catch you up. You can read back. It's not specifically, I'm relating it to a specific question. As a white woman, what can I do to help raise awareness? Good question. Just raise awareness. So you'll see there's all kinds of posts going around about people who didn't share this kind of stuff. What I would say as a white person is when you post stuff or share or talk to your children about this, and don't shy away from the conversation with your children, because someone died. All the more reason to, and to say why, and to say it was white people, and then to say it was because white people have white privilege and they think that they can act on it. So I think if you're posting and you're, a lot of stuff went around yesterday, but call your government. There are things you can do. There's the petition, all this kind of stuff. There's a litany of lists of stuff that you can do. But just raise awareness, and say you're raising an awareness as a white person, and you recognize your privilege. Here's what I'll say also to people of color. Take care of yourself. Like, it's not your job to raise awareness about this. It's white people's job. It's your job to heal yourself. Yeah, one of my books, I'm still writing my first one, but one of my books is, growing up Black or as a person of color in America is trauma. It is trauma. Like, there's no way around it. Like, it just is. You think about like living in a war and, with PTSD and all this kind of stuff, that stuff lives in your body. It's certainly emotionally painful. I mean, think about that conversation I just had with Blessing, right? That's traumatic for me. It was traumatic for my husband. She seems okay. But, who knows? Who knows? We're going to be dealing with that stuff for a while. Thanks for the question. Oh, man. Thoughts, comments. Oh my God, are you all calling me? My phone is blowing up. Yeah, the body certainly does keep the score. That's a book that talks specifically about how trauma lives in the body. So if you think about trauma, all the work that I do with trauma, I don't think I've ever talked specifically about being a person of color and experience trauma and how that specifically sits in the body. It's a different type. It's a different type of trauma for different reasons. Because it's not only that it may not be that you're witnessing like huge things, although that does happen. Like, this is a perfect example of witnessing something huge in relation to trauma. But it's like the small things that build up over time that fucking tear your ass down emotionally, that sometimes you don't know until you're an adult, and then you're living in it, and it's super hard. Hi, Carol. So, hey, I'll write a book. I'll do some more coaching on that. If you are a person of color and you think that you are experiencing that specific issue, I have done coaching with people around that. I'm happy to help. Just hit me up. I'm happy to help. Don't worry about the money. We will figure that shit out. Your healing and well-being is more important. That's why I started the nonprofit. For those of you that don't know, Be Free Coaching and Wellness is now a nonprofit organization, which is why I'm asking for donations to help us, keep the studio open, but to reach out to other people who at this point in time specifically may not be able to access services because the financial situation right now is such in a horrible, awful state. Like, people are getting laid off. I saw that. It's so hard. So don't let the money stop you if you're worrying about that in terms of what things cost right now. All classes are $5. That's just so that we can keep something going. But we've never turned anybody away. You're not going to get turned away from coaching if you need it from me. I may farm you out if your issues are too acute for what my services can offer, but I'm always here. I'm always here to listen. This specific issue is heavy, right? So this is just 20 minutes or half hour that we're doing today. I'm not going to get you to understand all of this right now. Lots of you already understand it, right? So we're like-minded people. So if you're listening to me, you're most likely like-minded. So just reach out. Say, I need help with this, right? But if you're white, don't reach out to me. I'm just kidding. I may give you to somebody else who's a white person that understands this stuff and have the conversation with you. It's a little different, right? Because we want to make sure that the people of color stay whole so that they can heal each other and heal themselves. Yeah. And take responsibility for what they need to take responsibility for, which is their own healing. And then white work around white privilege. Yeah, that's a lot to say. It's heavy. It's heavy. Feel free to hit me up with a couple more comments here, and then we're going to meditate together, see if we can't heal some of this shit. Sometimes I can't see all the comments on here, so let me just double check my phone, make sure I'm not missing anything. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah. You've lived in South Africa. Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm sure you did see it firsthand. That's a tough one. Hmm. So Kathy brings up a really good point. She's not afraid of white people. So her dad's white. It's not that. Yes. Here's what, that's a great point, Kathy. Thank you for bringing that up. So I just want to put this up here so we can all know what I'm talking about. So I think what's important to understand here is that, so it's not like I'm teaching her that all white people are bad. You know, she certainly loves her dad like crazy. There's white people in my family, you know. Her brothers are white. It's not that. It's that she needs to understand that white people can be racist and that they all have the potential to be. I know that's real shit and hard to hear, but they do. And that's what she needs to understand. So she needs to understand that so that she can then assess situations, right? So I was taught that super early. My mom was very, very, very loud about that. She told me that I shouldn't trust any white people. I'm not, that's not my thing. My mom was way different than me. Okay, she's like, yeah. Yeah, she straight up said, don't trust white people. They are out to get you. And they have another agenda and they are all racist and blah, 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 blah. Right? That's not true. We know that's not true. We know people love people. We know that hurt people, right? So if you're an unhealed white person, you are more likely to go than hurt people of color. Yeah. So that's how that works. And I talk to my kid. I'm very open about that. So she knows that. But what I do need her to understand is that there is the potential of any white person to harm you. Like there is. Yeah. Yeah. Marie says PTSD is real for Black men and their mothers. Yes. Totally true. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Totally get it. Yeah. Oh, Kate, you just wrote a lot. Let me see if I can read it. All right. I don't know why it's still happening or how to stop it. I'm making an effort always to educate myself on others' experiences. Yeah, so let me also say this is super hard and heavy. And for white people too. Like I don't want to have it be that that's not the issue. I know everyone is hurting from this. I totally know. I also know, that white people hurt when Black people hurt. Like I totally get that. We are collective in lots and lots of ways. It's not that. And education is great. Here's what's hard, and I think what's really hard for particularly white people to understand is that the racism is so systematic sometimes and so subtle sometimes that it is hard to see, right? Unless you're a person of color and you've grown up with it your whole life and that you just see it all the time naturally, right? It's like one of those things where you walk in a room, the first thing I count is the people of color, right? For safety reasons and just to know what kind of context I'm up against depending on what I'm in the room for, right? That's not necessarily something that white people think of. So, I mean, that's just an example. There's like 1,000 of them, but that is certainly, especially in yoga communities, like that's the big thing. It's because you're holding space for somebody and you're about to be in a really intimate thing. So if I'm in large groups, my first thing is to think about where the people of color are. So that's just a paradigm shift. So you can educate yourself, yes, do it, but just think about the paradigm shift. If you guys want, I got all kinds of resources and stuff like this. I will I can post it after. I can write a blog with information. You just want to make sure that you are reading information that is around white privilege and anti-racism. Those two words are the ones that you want to think about when you're looking at this. So like prejudice, diversity, all that kind of stuff. No, it's like sugarcoating stuff. Anti-racism, white privilege. Those two. Use those two. So I'll post lots of stuff. There's tons of resources out there. But yeah, I wanted to think about this as a systematic thing that has been built for decades, right? We're looking at Rosa Parks up here with 1955. Nah. I just love that. So yeah, we're gonna keep having the conversation and it's okay. Here's what I want you to know. Talking about it is totally fine. It's totally good. It is what it is. I think what's happening too in the world is we're shying away from talking about difficult stuff. Like, I don't know why. Like, that's how you live in the world and that's how you connect with people, right? And all these politics where people are like afraid to offend each other. Like, oh my word. I'm talking to everyone out of love. The racism is not, I just had that experience with my daughter, right? I could hide in the bathroom and go freak out, but instead I want to share it with you because I know that there's good in the world. I know that there's good in the world. And I know no one's out to get people that are truly in like love with themselves in the world. I also know, let me say this, that hurt people, and things come out of fear, right? Scary things come out of fear. Okay. And so there's all this stuff too around COVID and all this ridiculousness. I don't know, like who's right, who's wrong, scientists, doctors, all this stuff. You decide for yourself, educate yourself, right? And love the world and heal the world, right? Just we gotta come together a little bit on a lot of things right now. And it's just hard. Oh, sorry. My husband's telling me to go back to Jane. What'd I miss? Da-na-na. Ba-da-ba-ba. Oh, I see. Okay. Jason says the answer is yes. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, the initial conversation was about Ahmaud, but sure. Yeah. I think that's a longer conversation around I think a lot of was interesting when we got blessing in terms of all that. And if we experience racism as an interracial couple, sure. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff that happens. I think I don't think it was as blatant as when we got blessing and the racism with the three of us sort of showed up pretty prevalently. Yeah. So yeah, the answer is yeah. But I can get into more of that later. So thank you for that. What else did I miss? Anyone else have questions? I feel like you want to say stuff. I'm getting information from the universe to not stop and to let somebody else have a question. Who's got a question that they're afraid to ask? Somebody out there. Somebody out there. I'm with you. I'm not judging. No. Jason, you can feel free to chime in on that too if you had some thoughts. No? All right. Here, here's what I know too. I was talking about fear. and people that are hurting people. And a lot of this has to do with fear. Yeah, it's when it's about control and fear, and when we're afraid of other people, and that may be part of the situation right now. It may not. I don't know that we really know enough information about what's happening right now with the whole COVID situation to say yes or no 1,000%. I don't know. What I do know is that people are scared right now. And so we need to do a lot more of collective healing together instead of this banter back and forth of who's right, who's wrong on scientists or whatever. We know we need to protect ourselves. We know that we need to protect Black men. We know that. Yeah. And we know that their skills and level is, is not meant to be in jail. That's just silly talk. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, today, if you want to run, everyone is running. Everyone, if you want to run, 2.23 miles for Ahmaud. Yeah, we're going to be running, Blessing and I and Jason together. Yeah, and this is a conversation. Actually, we're going to continue this on Monday with my friend Danielle Martin. She's an amazing person. She talks about reparations, and I posted her TED Talk before, and she's gonna come on. We're gonna talk more about it, but she's just a dynamic person, person of color, woman. She's just great, yogi, and she's going to be talking a lot about this and health and people of color. So Monday we'll continue this conversation, I'm sure. But before I go, I do want to do a brief meditation with you. So wherever you are, if you could just close your eyes. And just take some really deep breaths in and out. And just know that the healing that needs to happen is with all of us. And that we fight this together. We don't fight this alone. And Ahmaud and all the other people of color who have died due to racism are all our brothers, our sisters, our children. They're just as much our children as our other children. When we start to thinking that they're not a part of us is when we start to separate. No one is separate. Yes, we can be different. We can have different colors, shapes, forms, right? And that means different things for all of us. But we cannot let that lead how we respond, how we love. It's okay to feel hurt by this. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to take your time until you're figuring out what's the right thing to do for yourself and for others. And take some really deep breaths in and out and just resonate how all this is sat with your body, with your mind, with your spirit. And just see if you can love it without wishing any of it away. And if there is pain in there, just give it some space, some time, some healing. And Ahmaud, we are going to celebrate you today by running, by witnessing you, by seeing you, by not wishing this away, by recognizing it, by taking responsibility, and continuing to share your spirit with the world. Take one final deep breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. You can open your eyes. Have a great day, you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for witnessing this conversation. Thank you for hanging in there with me. And don't forget, Monday, 10 o'clock, I will be right back here. And see you then. All my love. Bye.